don't really need to do that because the camera's gonna. So today is a day of unfortunate events, even though I went through it last week. It's whatever. I'm just kidding.
It happens every month. We can't help it.
But no, we really did just want to sit down and make a video for you guys. I thought that was mine.
It is under the table, please. I want to see that cat food on the table.
It's like really been on my like brain here lately. I feel like a lot of my students watch this channel as of right now, so they're always asking like, but why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing that? Do you get paid? And obviously right now, no, we don't get paid to do this. We're doing it because I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't know if you thoroughly enjoy it.
I thoroughly enjoy it, but I feel like it's also a I think I've always wanted to do, like, you know, with the dancing, because I wasn't able to have that opportunity when I grew up.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's crazy how things work out, you know what I mean? So I feel like now that I'm able to do it, even though I look like an idiot, I legitimately enjoy it. Like, I know it's hard work, and I wish I was like a lot more, like I could practice when we don't do it and all that stuff, but like, I mean, life. Yeah. But,
so, the reason we started, she's our teacher. So, I guess a little background information on both of us. I grew up super into ballet. So, I mean, like,
how old were you?
I was gonna be a ballerina. I remember the first time I really enjoyed being on stage was like in 5th grade or 6th grade. It was like late elementary school years, early, like, you know how Carter acts like she thinks she already knows the steps, so she gives up? Like, that was me. So I like already thought I like knew all the steps and everything, but I didn't really understand like why I wasn't getting picked for parts and all that stuff. And then until I got older and I realized the reason I wasn't getting picked for parts in schools was because I didn't have money. So the way, like, I'm probably outing a lot of ballet schools, but if you're going through this situation, just know that you're not alone. Keep trying, right? So what happened is I wouldn't get parts because my parents they didn't have money. I got kicked out of 2 schools. I was about to get kicked out of one because my parents couldn't afford the bill, but they really wanted to keep me in dance. So they literally, and you know this as a mom, like literally just kept me in dance as long as they could until that happened, just to see if like what would come out of it. And so to me as a child, not understanding finances, I thought I was a really bad dancer, but I loved it so much. So I kept going, and it wasn't until I was older when you start learning about how business works. And when it comes to a school, which actually funds a lot of major dance companies or school, I mean, Louis XIV did it when he started the Paris Opera Ballet. He created a school, and we wouldn't have ballet if it wasn't for Louis XIV.
Wait, there were 14 Louis before him?
13. He was the 14th.
But
yeah, also known as the Sun King. But anyway, do you know what I'm saying though? Like, if you don't have a school, a lot of this stuff, because people pay to go to get training, and so a lot of that money they pay goes to the ballet company. And so because my parents, they're going to put people in parts. They're going to build their ego. The rich kids, they're going to build their ego so they stay at the school, so they keep getting their parents' money.
Exactly, that makes sense.
And it makes a lot of sense, honestly, but at the same time, those kids who actually have a talent, who actually have a lot of drive, which is the main part of it, they kind of...
mostly the poor people.
Exactly. They give up. And so I never gave up. I ended up going to college. I had a lot of people who believed in me. I eventually got accepted into like this Russian school, Kingsport Ballet, you go girls. Yeah, 2nd generation Vaganova student, and
wait, it was a Russian school.
So they taught Vaganova, that book I teach you from. That's what she taught me. She actually said if you don't read this book, you're not like getting parts or something. Yeah, so I'd have to go home and read that book, and I would barely read it.
Will she ask you the step names?
She would tell me. I already knew the step names because you learn those from a very young age. But she would tell me, like, I see how far you are along in the book because the way I would, like, move my feet and move my body. Yeah, because the book literally goes into detail on how you're supposed to do your pliés, your tendus.
Oh, wow.
And she'd be like, I can tell where you're at in the book. And I would be like, she goes, you're almost done, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like, she would literally keep tabs on me.
I would be terrified if I had a Russian teacher.
She's from Ukraine, though. So she's like,
I'm from Ukraine originally.
She's like,
I was born in Ukraine.
Oh, I thought you were born in Moldova.
I was born in Ukraine, but then my biological mom moved us back to Moldova. I speak Romanian, so Moldova, Romania, they're kind of the same thing, but they're not the same thing. So Moldova is, Romanian language is more British. You know how British people have that accent into it? And then the country folks here in America, how they have the different...
twang.
Yeah, like that accent thing. That's exactly how Romanian Moldova is. It's like British in America in a way.
My Romanian friend just taught it to me. She goes, Moldova was a part of Romania, and then the USSR
Soviet Union,
took that. And like literally a few years before you were born, Moldova became Moldova.
Became its own country.
So Moldova is literally 3 years older than you are.
Yeah. Aww. So it's only 33 years. Oh wow. But you know also Moldova is the poorest country in Europe, right? It's like actually super sad.
I didn't know. Okay, so great segue. So tell us why you persisted on wanting to learn ballet.
Oh God. I think it was okay. So let me start from the beginning. So I was born in Ukraine, but I moved back to Moldova around the age 3 or 4. My biological mom Natasha ended up giving my sister and I to an orphanage, a public orphanage. Public orphanages are more like they have thousands of kids in there.
Well, and exactly like how we said the USSR took that part of Romania at the time from Romania. Like a lot of the stuff you say reminds me of how my Russian teacher sat down and talked to me on how they treated her in the ballet school, which was very strict and stern.
Oh yeah, 100. It's everything. I mean, schooling, sports, everything is very communist and very, very strict.
Yeah.
And like you said, like it's not only in America. If you have the money, you get to go through school and get parts. No, Europe the same way. Like if I was raised in an orphanage, when I would graduate from school, I would have no job because nobody wants to deal with an orphan. Somebody else that had more money would get that job because of a parent that knew of a parent would get that job. So it's pretty much the same kind of thing. Orphans are like nothing in Europe. If you don't have that family base, nobody really takes you seriously because they almost look like you are an individual. Nobody really gives a shit about it.
Yeah.
So, back to my mom and gave me to a public orphanage, my sister and I, and then we were there probably for 2 weeks, and then we had Mama Sveta. She came because she was searching for other orphanages for kids, and it boils down to cute kids. So my sister and I guess we were so cute, but they ended up taking us to this private orphanage. So this private orphanage had only 40 kids. So sad. It's absolutely sad, but get this. The main reason we had this orphanage was called Little Samaritan Mission. Have you heard in the Bible, you know the Samaritan?
Yeah.
Well, the whole entire story was based on the Samaritan because the Samaritan is the one that helped the guy on the side of the road. So our point, what it was almost like Little Samaritan Mission orphanage was on top of all the government orphanages, and that's how they used to get their monies because we were literally handpicked from a public orphanage to get in the Little Samaritan orphanage. So when American comes or missionaries or anything like that, they would come and see us or feel sorry for us, and then they would donate us money, and with all that money they would distribute it to all the government through the government orphanages. 100%. No, 100%. So we were always taught, like, you always watch what you do because you have to be an example for everybody in the world. Like, you always have to smile, you always have to, like, we always had to be on point, in other words, because they would always tell us we are the face of government orphanages, we are the face of other kids that are way less fortunate than we are. So it was a little bit better of an orphanage, but you always had that pressure on you that, oh my God, your story's already fucking sad as it is.
I was about to say, like, it's sad that they kind of, as a child, I don't think you know this, I know this as a teacher just because I've watched children grow up from a very young age, is like, you really have to watch how you talk to them.
100%.
And how you say things. Like, I know Carter is so adult-like because she's around adults. She's the firstborn, by the way, and she's just like always around adults. She doesn't have any other kids, so she's just very like knows how to reason with people at 3 years old.
It's so bad.
It's wild, but it's like at your age, you're learning that if you don't do certain things or if you don't work hard, which is an amazing trait. But it's also sad because now you don't have a childhood to play with.
Yeah, but think about it this way. You know how they used to threaten us, like if you were not good, what's gonna happen to us? They would threaten us to take us back to the government orphanage. So that was always in the back of my mind. Always. If I'm not good, and I used to be the worst kid in the orphanage, believe it or not. I used to be the only one that had a nickname. My nickname was Copper. Copper means goat. So you know how goats never stay. Goats, yeah. Like meh.
I like you go. Like you're always on the Zoom.
No, and that was one thing because you know how goats never stay in one place and then just skip around and God knows what the F they doing. Well, that was me. I would always get in trouble. It's not because I was a bad kid. I was just a kid. Like
exactly.
I would always sneak around just to go outside. I was always like, who did that? It automatically was Alina. That was to be my name. So you would automatically be like, oh, Alina, even though I didn't do it. It was always me. So at a young age, I'm like, F that. So I had to start telling on people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You kind of made me like the snitch or the tattleteller. But if I did not tell him I didn't do it and he or she did,
you were gonna get your
I would be getting my hand banged on the walls legit. Like, or I would be whooped in front of the whole entire orphanage. So I'm not gonna do that. Like, I think there's a place where you don't say stuff or anything like that, but at the end of the day, when it's your life online, then you don't care about that because I used to always get in trouble. So I started saying that, like telling on other people this and that. But the long story short is with the dancing, you never had like.
I was about to ask like, why couldn't you dance? Why wouldn't they let you dance?
So. They didn't even care how your day went. I never had a grown-up ask me, hey, how was your day? They don't give a shit about that. They don't treat you like a human. They treat you like a product they have to take care of. You have to be
you're their moneymaker.
100%, 1,000%. And then around the age of 7, 8, maybe 9, they started taking us back. They took us in America and we started singing in all the churches for donations. And we would go and enter the church through the middle hallway singing with the Moldovan, oh my God, embarrassment. But like we would sing in front of the church and then he would get on top of the, start preaching, and he was so manipulative that he would make everybody feel so sorry. So he was the founder of LSM, Little Samaritan Mission. But anyways, back to dancing. So they didn't even care how your day went. Do you really think at that age we were brainwashed, like 100% brainwashed? They made us feel like without them we are nothing. Without them we're not gonna make it in life. And if you live this LSM, if you live Little Samaritan Mission Orphanage, you're screwed. That's how they made us view the whole entire situation. So I've always loved dancing. Like we would get 1 hour.
What sparked that?
We would get 1 hour of TV Saturdays. That was if the whole entire orphanage kids were good. And that probably happened once a month. Like, let's be legit. So one time, there's this show I used to call it Surprise Surprise. It's like surprise, surprise, and it was about this lady surprising like families in need, and they would have dancers on the stage. Like they would have beautiful dancers, like with beautiful gowns or like beautiful outfits. I just fell in love with it. And even skating, you know how they skate
that's where I started.
Move. Oh my God, that to me was so beautiful. I could literally just watch them all day long.
Same.
So I watched that, but never in my mind it dawned on me, hey, I can do that. Never in my mind it dawned me like I can do that. Legitly, to me it was like something taboo to me. To me it was something like, oh my God, that's so beautiful, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And then obviously I grew up at 16. I was adopted, and then I started watching more TV here. So I kept watching dancing, and I've always loved it. It's just, I think what attracted me the most to it was the confidence and how you couldn't really tell your personal story, but they would tell you a story, how they danced and how they wanted you to see the dance story. Does that make sense? You know how you have choreography, like you tell a story through your moves, through your all that stuff. So I feel like I would literally just zone into that, and I wasn't thinking about the pain, I wasn't thinking about how lonely I wasn't thinking about, oh shit, I might be going back to the public orphanage. It wasn't anything like that. To me, I was like, just that moment, like beautiful hair, beautiful makeup, beautiful gowns, and beautiful dancing. That just what got me into it. And then obviously I grew older, then I started watching a lot more dancing TV, and I was in the kitchen like, and you know, so I just absolutely fell in love with it because I wanted to be in that space that my problems weren't a reality. Does that make sense? Like, I was so into just wanting to live in that moment. I don't know how to explain it. And then at 29, we had Slow Violence video.
I was about to say, so we met on a music video shoot.
Yes.
But what did you think when we met? When you were like, she's a dancer.
Dude, I was like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like, I was 100% intimidated by you.
Do you think, so a kismet means like, it was kind of like serendipitously happened?
Okay, serendipitously, I don't know that word, so.
Meaning like, it was meant to happen, but it happened in such a like, you didn't know it was gonna happen type of way.
I think so, but I didn't put two and two together until remember the second day we were shooting when Carter was there, and I'm like, oh, I really want to put on a ballet class.
I'm gonna put up a picture and you'll see it's cute.
And Jaden was like, Kasey, Cara does ballet. I said, what?
Yeah.
I said, no way. But like, I remember thinking like, I was very intimidated by you, because like I look at like people like you like way
Which
higher
I think
than
is
me.
wild, because out of everybody at that shoot, me and you were the two that were like,
we clicked really nice. But I feel like I respected you. I had to respect you because like I was looking as a dancer, like, you know how you said, we were joking around, you said, don't touch the talent? I legitimately thought like that. I legitimately thought you were the talent, and I was so happy to take care of the talent. Like, I was so happy to be the little Cinderella, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that is so, I just like, I want to cry.
No, but it's a true story. So it's just like, and now since I know you, I'm like, oh my God, it's Cara. I call you, you're in my phone, Cara Celeste.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're a human too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like the more you know somebody or the more you get to know them, it's like you realize y'all are both humans. Now, it all depends on how you take it. Like, is it the steps you had to do even though you didn't have the money, all this, your family didn't have the money, but still you are where you are because you're so persistent, because you were in love with dance is your life. Dance is not my life. My life is literally day by day. That's how I even survived orphanage. I remember when I came here to America, my mom was like, what are your 5-year goals? What is your goal for the next 5 years? And we were sitting on the table, and I literally looked at her, I said, you're lucky I'm even thinking about tomorrow. No, I said, I'm not even thinking about tomorrow, much less 5 years from now. Because in the orphanage, it was day by day. I literally lived in the moment, and that's one thing about the orphanage I can say. Day by day, I was living in the moment. I was not dreaming. I was not thinking, oh, hey, I can grow up and be a teacher, or not a teacher, a dancer, or hey, I can grow up and actually make money, and I can be able to take care of myself, or I can grow up and have my own beautiful family and not treat my kids and give them. No, it was none of that. It was just literally today, and that was it. And in my mind it was, I cannot live without the orphanage. I am nothing without the orphanage, in other words. So when we started the dancing, and then you ended up coming to our house, to my house, and we started doing it legit, I was like, oh my god, this is
real.
happening. And I mean, I know it's like, I know I look like an idiot, but it's like I'm truly trying.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like because I've wanted to do that, and I was telling my sister Jane, it's like I'm about to be 30 in less than a month, but the fact that I'm already trying, I'm practicing dancing, or the fact that I'm even doing something with dancing, it truly makes me happy. It truly makes me feel like I am something that I took those steps. It was me that wanted to be in that position. Of course you helped me with it, but I'm saying, it's like,
help.
Exactly, but I'm saying like, I didn't let my age define me, in other words.
Ego.
Or my ego. Oh my god, that's 100, my ego. So I feel like when the dancing part happened, I just feel like more fulfilled. Like I feel like, okay, you did something for yourself. Or you are doing something for yourself. Does that make sense? So I feel like at the end of the day, it just literally boils down to me being a child and thinking of something, or like dreaming of something.
But you still had a dream, so I think that's a thing in America.
But I wasn't dreaming when I was in the orphanage about it. I just started when I met my husband, Peter.
Yeah.
Before him, I was very straight-minded. I never let my mind wander. I never let
narrow-minded.
I was very narrow-minded, 100%. Now, when I met Peter, he goes, "You can be whatever you want. You can even go to space if you fucking want to."
See, that's like an American mindset though. Is like, and I thought that was funny when you brought that up. You were like, when my American family adopted me, she asked me what are my 5 future goals. Like that's how our parents and our teachers teach us. Is like you have to have goals for life and know that they are possible, but you have to take. Smart teachers will tell you that you have to take these steps. Very easygoing, they're just there for a paycheck type teachers will tell you like, yeah, you can do that. But they don't tell you how. They don't give you the nail and the hammer, the tools. They just give you the floor plan, and they're like, okay, figure out how to, this is what you drew, figure out how to
find the nail, go find the hammer, and then maybe put them together back to back.
And that was like, just growing up, I did not come from your background, but I did have a dream. And you had persistence. So like, I'm like the future view, and you're like the now view.
No, I'm the moment kind of view.
Exactly, but I think that's what makes a really awesome dancer, is somebody who just, we're told all around the world in almost every religion that this thing that we are in, this vessel that moves us around everywhere, is an evil thing. And honestly, my religious views, it can be used for evil. But at the same time, it's a wonderful thing that you have to learn how to control. And the way I learned how to control that, because I just grew up in a very religious background, was that dance wasn't evil. The more I danced, the more I realized, because I love to prove people wrong, the more I realized dance and moving my body is what made me more in tune.
It's so funny you say that.
In tune with how things worked. And so when I got into college and I started realizing like the culture of ballet that's so like hoity-toity, I hated it. I hated ballet more and more and more and more. But this is something that I dreamed of being. I didn't necessarily in college have to be a ballerina, but I loved teaching people those skills and those tactics, because I think it does make you a more well-rounded dancer, because I'm a contemporary dancer now, and I mean, a lot of the I do, I connect to my ballet roots.
You see how you said
but it's
that
not just
dance wasn't, dance, it was a good thing for you, like in church or whatever.
It changed my life.
But that's in the orphanage, they made us feel like dancing is a sin.
Exactly. My grandpa has only been, my mom's dad has only been to 2 of my ballet shows. In my entire life, I've been dancing since I've been 4 years old, has only been to 2 because he thinks dance is evil.
No, they make it dancing is evil because it's the way you use your body and it's sexualized. They don't see it like that, but they made us, in the orphanage, they 100% made us feel dancing it's a sin. And then, of course, I feel like that had a big part of me to even like think, oh, hey, I can dance one day. Absolutely not. The same way they looked at sex as a very taboo kind of thing. Same thing with dancing. Dancing and sex were up at the same thing. I remember we were in America, but then I found out the story that the other kids that were left behind in the orphanage, they had a dancing party in this big ass room we had at the orphanage. All of those fuckers got in trouble. Literally for dancing, and it wasn't like God knows, they were probably just like, hey,
Yeah,
you know what
whatever.
I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so sad to me because it's like the Bible, whatever the preacher at the orphanage or whatever, they literally, and stuff like that holds you back, especially when it's something like God constantly in your mind.
And it's just so funny because in Psalms it says, I remember the first dance school I went to that I can remember was a Christian dance school, and they literally had this plastered everywhere. It was like one of the later Psalms. Of course, you know Psalms, right?
I know Psalms, but don't
Yeah.
ask me which verse.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but it was like praise the Lord with dance. Before you even, that's the last verse of that entire thing. It's basically praise the Lord with art, praise the Lord with singing, praise the Lord with the tambourine, and then it says praise the Lord with dance. Meaning like, use your body, use your facility, this physical thing, because we have a mental thing and a physical thing. Use this physical thing for good and to like praise who you are.
It's almost like you're like, you know how you call our body is a vessel for God. That's how they taught us. Like it's a vessel. Our body is not a vessel. Our body is a temple.
Yeah. Yes.
The body is the temple. So the temple is supposed to be something sacred, something.
But you also have to work out. So why not work out in
100%. Like, let's say you're overweight, way overweight. In other words, the Bible translates, you're not taking care of God's temple.
Yeah.
Right? So when it goes back to temple, you always wanted to use your body like God, like you're using your body for God. So the way they said dancing is the wrong thing, I personally didn't want to ruin the temple for God. Because I always thought God is going to come get the temple, and if it's not good enough, I don't know. But I'm saying it's like it had a lot to do with how we were taught. It had a lot to do. And it wasn't just like, oh, you can dance. No, it was constantly like,
don't move your body.
Exactly. Stay still. Why are you moving? You know what I mean? Like, it was a very taboo thing to me at that time. But I was 100% eating it up because I was brainwashed.
But that's what you
know what
grew
I mean?
up with.
Exactly. So like I grew up with that. So now when I met Peter and him telling me like, no, you can do whatever you want. I mean, shit. Now he looks at the videos I dance and he goes, "You're so crazy. You're so silly." I'm like, whatever. I need to learn a new move. So you know what I mean? Like I'm not even embarrassed about it because Peter's very like.
Yeah, but the more we progress with these videos, the more you as a viewer. And if you follow these tutorials, you're also going to build up to this level. It's like, I don't know. The main reason I started these videos is because I always meet people like you who tell me they want to learn how to dance. And I think anyone can dance. And I think once you realize that you can actually move to your own groove, you can do these things that your body is wanting to do, but you're holding it back, you fall in love with yourself in a very like healthy way.
I think you fall in love with your, like how you said, with yourself, but it also gives you the confidence.
Exactly, it gives you confidence.
Before I met you, honey, you'll not catch me dancing. I can't even dance by myself in my huge ass bathroom because I am embarrassed to see myself dance because I don't have that confidence. Like,
well, even professional
now I'm just practicing and this and that, but it's literally, I feel like it's almost like you have a string inside you, right? Like you visualize this. You have a string in here, and then you come along and you start pulling on that string.
Yeah.
And then the more you pull, the more I'm moving, the more my arms start. Does that make sense? It's almost like you're unwinding me.
And you were the person who made me realize all these ideas I had in my head could come true. They weren't gonna come true how I thought they were, because I wanted to make a dance channel like forever ago, but I was like, how can I spread the message that people can dance? What I do, because first off, dance is the most underappreciated, most underpaid art form in the world. And yet we spend the most time practicing, we spend the most time on stage, we spend the most time in articles, and yet we get paid the least. It makes no sense.
Why do you think that is though? Like, why do you think somebody that knows how to use a laptop is more paid, or somebody that I don't even know?
Sometimes I think there's less of them, and I think it's how some people appreciate the art form. A lot of the people think, I mean, ballerinas get paid more than almost any other dancer. It just depends on funding. So in America, I know we don't have any government funded arts organizations. If we do, I don't know about it, especially in dance. None of that is government funded. It's all non-for-profit. So everything is donation based. You get donors and you get ticket sales, and then you get the money from the school. Those three things. Or if somebody wants to come take master classes, you get that income as well, and that goes to fund the dance company, fund paychecks.
So do you think that, well, I'm pretty sure, so do you think that the ballerinas, or how you call guys that do ballet?
A ballerina.
Oh, ballerina.
But nobody says that.
But it's okay, so ballerina or ballerinas, they get more parts compared to the schools they went. Like,
what do you mean? Oh, a guy dancer?
No, girl or guy. Like, you know how you have UGA, then you have what are big colleges? Yale.
But the university.
But don't they have that for ballet? Like,
they do, but it's very particular. So here's the thing, like, this isn't prevalent now, but like back in the day, like here recently, maybe like 10 years ago, they started taking older dancers. No, like almost 10 years ago. They started taking older dancers. Before, if you reached the age of 16 and you weren't even considered for a dance company, you might just as well hang up the dance career. The ballerina career. So 16 years old. If you were 16, I remember the day I turned 16, I cried. I was so upset because I was like, I'm about to get kicked out of another dance school. I'm like not getting these parts, like, but everybody says I'm so good. I'm so confused. Like, my dream, my American dream was to be a ballerina, and it wasn't happening for me. So why am I still here?
But that's just like 16. People
do you know what I'm saying? But now it's different. So that's why I decided to go to college, and that's how I found contemporary dance. I found the ideas of Ohad Naharin and how everybody has their own groove. Everybody can dance. And then I started taking note every time I would dance. I would walk into a ballet class versus a contemporary class. A ballet class, nobody talks to you. They're all very rude. And then you walk into a contemporary class. Even contemporary classes are kind of like this, but just not as bad. But I was like, why don't people act happy? Why aren't they like, hey, what's up? Like, there's actually this movie, and they hit on this. It's called Center Stage. We'll watch it one day.
Okay.
And the girl gets accepted into the American Ballet School, ABS or whatever. And she's in New York City. She's taking all these classes, and like nobody's talking to one another. They're all like kind of like high class, like I'm better than you. Like I'm gonna put glass in your ballet slippers so you like your feet hurt. You know, that's real story. Look it up. It happens a lot in Russia, by the way. But then she decides, she gets cast in like this ballet company by one of the ballet guys that left the company and came back, but he came back as a choreographer, and he's like a bad boy.
Is it like a romantic story?
Yeah. So she went and took a jazz class that he was in, and like she walks into the class and everybody's like, yeah, it's very highly sexualized, but they're like grabbing each other's, they're giving each other hugs, they're eating, like, into the ballet. This is in 1999.
Eating.
No, eating like they're like eating like bread and donuts, which is like supposedly taboo in the ballet community, but it is kind of actually still taboo. But to eat a lot of bread. Girl, I do it all the time.
Carpenter girl comes home, comes here with a big ass bread.
But it's like that idea. So go home and watch Center Stage, because this is exactly why I wanted to start She's Our Teacher. Not just to teach you, somebody who was underprivileged and wasn't ever able to dance, but always loved dance, like always kind of like had that.
I feel like I always had that respect for dancers.
Yeah.
I've always had that for dancers.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, even when I met you, like for the dance thing, I was like, intimidated, because to you, you're just a dancer. You feel like you're the most underpaid profession or whatever. But to me, it's something big because it's something I looked up to.
Yeah.
To me, something is like, God dang, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Just as to anybody meeting, I don't know, Beyonce or whatever. To me, that's how dancers are.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's just beautiful. Like, it's legitimately something I looked up to.
It's like literally, like, especially, I don't know.
I think it's like the confidence.
It's
the confidence behind it is what.
Skill, like,
yeah.
But just the fact that anybody can do it, like anybody can sing. I know a lot of musical artists who really kind of can't sing.
I know one person that cannot sing. I mean, I'm not gonna tell her name, but she cannot sing. It's like,
but the music around it, and it shapes the song, and then it's like a hit, and then it's like, you know, like Janis Joplin, for instance. She wasn't a good singer, but she had soul. Do you know who Janis Joplin is?
No, I was about to say, who's that?
I'll play.
So post it up whenever you do it.
I thought that was me for a second. That is not me, it's a way cute girl. That's a way cuter.
Who's that? Like a singer?
I can't believe you don't know who Janis Joplin is.
Dude, I learned who 50 Cent was when I came here. I learned Kanye not too long ago, so, you know, like, oops.
But this is soul.
Was she famous?
During the 60s and 70s. But you see, she can't sing. But it's just like the soul of it. Like, she's just like giving you
I feel like it's
everything.
a mood. Like, it's a...
It is a mood.
Like,
yes.
you have to get into
and
it.
I want dance to get to that level. Like, if you jam out in your room, jam out in your freaking room. Like, some of the best and funniest vines, like, you know, Vine, like, come from those kids who are just like, they mess up, but they were like grooving. And to me, there is something so emotional and passionate about that.
Yeah.
And I love that. And so it's like, I want people to respect that. And I don't want them to feel like they're having to work. Like they're like, oh, I have to do this plie again, and I gotta do it perfect. And I want them to like see the love in it and see that.
Oh no, like every Wednesday I'm always like, oh hey, what are we gonna learn today? Hi baby.
So
like it's something I literally look forward to, and I love it that, and I think, okay, so let's get back to saying this. I called, when I was 28, almost 2 years ago, I literally called this ballet school, this school asking for classes for adults ballet dancing. She literally fucking laughed in my face. I told you that story. She goes, haha, 28, no ma'am, we don't have classes here. I literally hung up the phone. I'm like, well, those are my chances to dance. I legitimately in my fucking head, I thought, oh me, I'm too old to be dancing.
And not only that, when we watch when we watch tutorials online, it's all professional, like.
It's all professional. I haven't seen a shittier dancer than me. Like, I am so serious.
She's our teacher.
Boom. That baby.
Let's go on there.
Okay, give us 5 more minutes. 2 more minutos. Oh, scusi. But no, I think that she's our teacher. That's the main idea behind it. It's like, no matter how shitty of a dancer you are, no matter if you never had dancing classes, no matter if you're freaking old, no matter if you are embarrassed about how you can't even dance by yourself in the shower, like not in the shower, but like in the bathroom or anything like that. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be like that, because anybody can dance.
Even if you're crippled, like we did a whole video on arms.
So this day she makes fun of my arms. She still texts me and she goes, hey, I think you should more butterfly that. What the f does that mean to me?
Like, elbow.
Like, I don't know, but it's like, and since I'm even double jerk, like I feel like I'm the perfect example to learn how to dance from scratch. Because I'm so not, I don't know, the beat of the music. I mean, zero. Like,
yeah,
nothing. So I feel like
really awesome.
That's the whole entire thing. That's the whole entire idea from behind she's our teacher, is anybody can dance, and if I can do it, anybody can. I mean, y'all seen the videos. Let's be realistic. Like, and you know what? I'm totally okay if people just watch it to laugh at me. Like, please just watch it.
me too, like as a teacher, I remember like teaching this past week, I literally like went into teaching you mode. And I was telling my kids, like, I'm like, straighten your leg or I'm gonna, this sounds really bad, guys. Oh, my eyes, you hurt my eyes. Oh,
You're guiding me.
And then I would like look and then they would have a straight leg and I'd be like, okay, oh, they feel so much better, thank you. And then I was like, if I don't see a straight leg in arabesque, I'm gonna choke. And like literally the first girl went, and I went,
Stop.
I'm dead serious.
Oh
I
my
know, it's just
God.
like, I never had teachers like that. I had teachers who were so mean, and yet I teach like that and I still get results, like some of the best results for my students. And they don't look at dance as a job. They look at dance as, we love taking Miss Cara's class. Her ballet class is awesome. Like, it's fun.
Well, I feel like because you connect with the students too, and you're not just like a teacher, like you're getting that person. Like the same way I'm with Carter. I never have ever talked to her as a baby. The same way I talk to you, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's not okay." The same exact way I talk to Carter. Does that make sense?
That's how my mom
You
is.
don't see two different cases. The way you meet me and the way I talk to an adult, that's the same exactly way I talk to a child, to Carter. But I feel like because I do that, I get even along better with her because I don't look at her as like a stupid child, like somebody that doesn't know anything.
And that's the thing too, is like, kids aren't dumb. They're innocent. There's a difference between dumb and innocence. They don't know yet until they experience it.
100%.
So it's like sometimes I let my kids do the wrong thing. And then they're like, but it's so hard. And I'm like, yeah, it's so hard because you're doing it wrong. Let me show you the right way. That's why I let you do it wrong.
Treat them like kids. You don't. You look at it like individuals. It's its own human being. You are a little human, so you're gonna learn the right human way.
Exactly how I teach you is how I teach my children.
So great. You think I'm a 5-year-old.
Now with my little,
okay.
with my 5-year-olds, I get a little bit more outlandish. It's more like a game. We have a lot of fun. But that's the thing too, is like kids are so like, they want to have fun all the time. Mm-hmm. If you're not willing to have fun with them, then it's like with Carter, like even though you treat her like an adult, I see you play with her sometimes.
Well, yeah,
and you start acting, you get on her level a little bit.
Of course.
As long as it's like a constructive chaos.
Yes.
Which, I'm not teaching you a constructive chaos.
I'm not a kid anymore, I'm actually a big girl.
You are a big girl. I agree with you.
I'm a big sister now.
You're a sister to
No.
who?
To Elephant, okay.
To Elephant? Go get Elephant. Show him Elephant.
He's on that.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so now we're getting really super passionate.
But this is the whole entire video, the whole entire meaning behind this video was for people to understand why we are doing She's Our Teacher. Not because we're like...
And please comment below if you, I mean, we are weird. But everybody's weird in a really awesome way, and that's what makes the world great.
That what makes me great, you guys. I'm great.
Should we have a whistle now? Because that is out.
Well, in that case, we're gonna close our.
Now you have to whistle.
Okay, so you can please leave a comment if you want us to make more videos like this.
In other words, AKA, leave us a comment if you want us to make more videos like this. Well, take him to his bed.
Baby.
Bye. Go tell him bye. Go tell him bye.